Welcome to Thursday's Zoom. I hope you guys are all doing well. I know we spoke a little bit about sim charting before we ever pushed record, but I just want to remind everybody, please do not get irritated, stressed out about sim charting. This is what we're looking for. We want you to be able to make an appointment. We want you to be able to pull up the form repository. We want you to be able to put patient information in. And does it sound silly when we say, oh, if it's not there, just make it up? Because you're like, well, how is that accurate? Well, they're not a real patient. So you don't necessarily have to worry about the accuracy. Now, of course, when you get into your facility, guess what? You're going to have all the right information. And if you don't, you're going to have to find out the accurate information. But since our patients are pretend patients, we don't have to worry about that so much. We really want you just to learn how to do the functions. Does that make sense? You can't mess anything up. Get in and play with it. All of those great things. Miss Danielle said that she's coming, but she's stuck on a call. So we'll just, yeah, right, huh? She just ditching us, isn't she, Brandy? Another thing that I want to bring up is that I know that my class and Miss Danielle's class, we're used to seeing the rotation of Miss Danielle, me, Miss Danielle, me. Well, now we're adding Miss Brandy Guillory in here, and she'll be taking a rotation, and not yet, but we will have a new instructor coming soon. And she will be in on the rotation when she feels comfortable. But you guys are gonna love her. She's just so nice. I think she may surpass me on the bubbly scale, which I get on my iron. Something's wrong, Brandy.
If she surpasses you on the bubbly scale, we're in trouble.
See, here
Because
Miss
I hadn't yet met a person more bubbly than you.
And she's known me for a long time. It is not an act. It's just who I am.
Like
So,
at least 10 years now, right?
at least.
Yeah.
I can get mad though. Some people are like, "Are you like this all the time?" I'm like, no." The thing about people who are really sweet, kind, and bubbly, there's like not a middle ground. It's like,
And that's her, y'all. Her students probably do
Absolutely,
not
I
believe
understand that.
her students do not believe that there's a flip side to all that bubbly and happy and flexible and will work with you. There's a flip side to that that not many people have seen, thankfully. And you don't want to see it. You don't want it. It's not good.
I don't know. Some of you in my generation will remember the movie Roadhouse, where Patrick Swayze says, "I'm nice till it's time to not be nice anymore." That's me. I need it on a t-shirt, need a tattoo of it, bumper sticker, poster, everything. All right, now that I'm done being silly, I do want you guys to relax and stop stressing about the sim charting. Okay? Still ask questions, but just don't stress out about it. Make sure you know how to do the functions. All right, on to our next subject and what's going to be taking up most of our time today. Have any of you received an email from your Unitech email, because that's where this is going to be coming from, an email to make a Moodle account?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think. No.
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Oh, great, Amber. Good deal. So Miss Kelly said yes. So here's the thing. You're going to have to look for your Unitech email. If you need to know what your Unitech email is, you simply have to go to your Genzabar and it'll be right there for you. Miss Brandy, do you know where it's at in Genzabar, or do I need to pull it up and look for it? You're on me. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry. What are you looking for?
Where they can find their email in their Genzabar.
Yes. If you go up to the right-hand corner to your profile
Hang on,
and you
I'll
see
pull
your
it up.
profile settings and things, it'll list it there for you.
I don't know why I'm telling them I'll let them see it, because it doesn't work that way on the instructor side.
No, it
Can
doesn't.
you say that one more time, Miss Brandy?
If you go up to the right hand corner where the login log out button is and you see your little profile icon, if you click there to see your profile settings, it'll be listed there. It shows your email address and user ID, I think, and different contact number. You can update things, all that.
So please go to your Unitech email. If you don't know where it is, follow Miss Brandy's instructions and you'll be able to find it. And you need to look for your credentials. Then you look, and then when you find your Moodle stuff, your Moodle email, then you need to make a Moodle account. Okay, we're going to be moving from Jinzabar to Moodle. Now you may be saying, why? Why are we moving platforms? Some of you, this is we moved from Jinzabar to Google Classroom, then back to Jinzabar again, and now we're going to Moodle. What in the world's going on? Well, you guys know, with anything, our e-learning platform needs to talk to our administration, right? Jinzabar just was not doing that, and the technical issues could not be fixed. And so therefore, to stay in compliance with the Board of Education, we have to have something that talks to each other. And so that's why we're having to move. Now, that being said, I find Moodle so much simpler. Y'all know all that. Miss Marsha, Miss Brandy, Miss Danielle, we cannot upload our assignment today. Then we have to tell you, clear your cookies, clear your cache, restart. Well, this system actually will give you a place where you can just copy and paste your answers. You don't have to worry about uploading anymore. And are you going to be able to see what it looks like? Absolutely. Give me just a minute. I'm getting there. I promise I'm going to show you. So are there any questions so far about why we're moving to Moodle, where you need to look for your login for Moodle? All right, so who's ready to see it?
I didn't catch any of it. I just got up. I just got here. I'm late. Sorry.
Oh, okay, Velma, what we're talking about is we're
Hey,
moving
Miss
platform.
Marcia, Miss Velma, there will be a recording posted in your e-learning website after the meeting. If you wouldn't mind, just catch up at that time to
Okay,
catch that
okay,
first few minutes.
Yeah.
okay,
Welcome,
I
Miss
will. Thank you.
Danielle.
Hi, you guys. My apologies for my tardiness.
Well, we're
Cut
going to
in
deduct
short.
10 points from your final grade, ma'am. Okay, so before I share my screen, please note that this is an instructor side of Moodle. It's not going to look exactly like yours, but the functions there again are going to be the same. So here, goodness.
And also, you guys, it might be a good idea for the first time y'all click on Moodle to go ahead and bookmark it so you have it for later. Because like we will be switching to that platform later, so you will need that easily accessible. Okay.
Thank you, Miss Brandy. All right, so we're just going to pop in here. So when you get into Moodle, this is what's going to look like. You have your daily assignments. My class knows daily assignments equals bell ringers. You're going to have labs, exams, course resources, and certification resources. So if you want to get in and do your bell ringer, your daily assignment, you click on that, and then all of a sudden, you have all of these things come up. Let's just take a look at today's. No, that's tomorrow's. But this is kind of, again, let me go into the, I'm sorry, let me change my role. Let's look at it through a student's eyes. That would be the smart thing to do. So this is what it's going to look like. So, for example, look, you guys have already done 1, 2, and 3 bell ringers, and it's showing done on this side. So let's look at day 4. You're going to add a submission. There is no assignment in here because we've already passed that day, right? So I don't have to, I didn't put one in there. So let me go back to, let me go to this one because I did put something in there. So add a submission. It says submit the following, define patient flow. And you have your answer. You're gonna save the changes. If you need to edit the submission, you can go back in and say, that doesn't look right. And if you want to remove your submission. So that's kind of what it's going to look like. Then you would click on, you would click on your labs. Let's look at day 8. We want to add a submission. And this is actually what my assignment is for day 8. So, and my students have to turn in, why is it important to keep accurate and updated allergy information in a patient's chart? So they would do their exercises here and they would answer that question and you would do that here. And then you would mark save changes. So it's pretty simple, right? Yes, no, maybe?
For me, no, because I missed a lot of it. And I can't go back and watch it from the beginning. So I don't know. I guess I'll get with Miss Danielle later.
There's gonna
That looks
there
a
will
lot easier.
there will be a video uploaded for you guys. So those of you who missed a little bit will be able to access it through the video.
What's
Okay.
wrong, Amanda? I didn't.
I got in here late, Miss Danielle.
Oh, it's recorded. You'll be okay. It's recorded. You'll be able to go back and watch what you missed.
So let's take
Okay.
a look at certification resources, which is something that is very, very, very exciting. So let's click that. You're going to have NCCT materials info, NCCT letter to employers, value of credentialing, certification examination assessment guide, NCCT MOA. I'm not going to read through all of these, but I wanted to show you something. NCCT ICS practice exam with the answer key. When we click on that, look at what this is. This is a sample test of your NCCT. So you can take a practice test. Okay, I don't know who has on their sound on and there's singing TV in the background. Please mute yourself. Thank you. But anyway, so you have an actual practice test for NCCT. Medical office assistant. You have a detailed test plan for that. And so you can go in, somebody wrote this here, so I don't know. I think they used the best resources they could. But that is definitely a cut above what we have in Zanzibar, right? So this has been preloaded for you to get in and do some practicing when you have time. Your course resources, that's where your syllabus is going to be. And then, of course, I don't have any exams loaded, but your exams would be where your exams are going to be. Does anybody want to look at something that I didn't show? Let's look at Student Hub information. What's in there? That's going to be our vision statement, our Unitech catalog, attendance and makeup policy, and the Unitech website. All the fun stuff, right? Again, you guys are going to have to pay attention to your announcements. I loaded this Moodle student guide in so my students can watch it? Can you hear it?
No, I don't think I can hear it.
No, it's no sound on it.
I'm sorry, what, Danielle?
It's not, it doesn't have the sound on it. It's probably just because you're sharing your screen.
Yeah. Oh, wait. All right. So that is Moodle. That is Moodle. Any questions about Moodle?
Yeah, do we just look it up and like, or is there somewhere we gotta sign in with our Unitech email and like find it through that email?
You'll get in, they should have emailed you already, Chad. I'll double check to make sure that they've put you in the new system, but you should have got an email probably last week or earlier, maybe. I think most people started getting them in the last couple weeks.
It will
Okay.
not go to your personal email. It will be in your Unitech email.
Okay, and what website do I find that Unitech email?
That's on Microsoft
Gotcha.
Outlook.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we got done with that quicker than I was expecting. So I want to talk to you guys about something that's very, very important. And so give it just a second to load. And we're going to switch subjects. What we're going to talk about is the CMS 1500 form. Does anybody know what that is?
Nobody?
Is that how we do our claim?
Hmm?
Amy, what'd you say?
Is that how we file claims?
Yep, it's what we send to our third-party payers to
That
tell
was
them
my
what we
student.
want them to pay, right?
Yeah.
Can somebody tell me what is a third-party payer?
Insurance.
Medicare, Medicaid.
Abs-
Medicaid.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very, very good. I have one more question. Miss Brandy and Miss Danielle, did y'all put the NCCT prep class in that I did Tuesday yet?
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
Yeah,
I
it's
need,
in,
I need
it's
to put
in,
that in today, actually.
Okay.
it's in news and
I
announcements.
forgot.
All right, so Miss Danielle's class, please go in your Genza bar. Stacy, that's what I'm having trouble finding. You wouldn't be the first student today to say that. If you go in and you click on it, it's going to be at the very top. It's hot pink with the birthday cake and it says the birthday rule. It's there. So when your instructor gets that loaded for you, Miss Danielle's class, she said it's a news and announcement. Please watch it. It does not take very long to watch it. We did part 1 Tuesday, that last Tuesday. We'll do part 2 this coming Tuesday. If you can't be at 9 a.m. class, I understand that, but I want you to watch it because guys, laws and ethics is all over the NCCT. So Stacy, if you can't find it, let me know and I'll help you. All right, so let me share my screen. Let's look at what a CMS 1500 form looks like. So it's a health insurance claim form. So I'm just going to go slow and kind of show you what it looks like. And then we're going to point some things out. So the first thing I want to point out is let's look at box 1. This is what kind of insurance you have. So if you have Medicare, you would click here. We're not going to try to click and make that work. Medicaid, TRICARE, CHAMPVA, Group Health Plan, FECA, other. If I had Blue Cross Blue Shield, which block do you think I would use?
Other.
Would you use other or would you use Group Health Plan?
Group. group.
Right, Miss Danielle?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we have a group health plan. So let's take a look at 1A, insured's ID number. Where do you guys think that you would find an insured's ID number?
On the front of the card, the member ID number.
Absolutely perfect. 2, patient's name last, first, and middle initial. Patient's date of birth, male or female, an insured's name, patient's address. All of these things are pretty much, you get it from the insurance card, you get it from the patient, right? Those things are pretty easy to know what goes there. Okay,
And
go ahead.
let me, Ms. Marsha. So right now we're doing simulations EHR. We haven't gotten into like the coding part, but normally because we're now in the 21st century, we're sending all of our claims electronically. So we're not ever gonna probably physically see this form and physically put that information into this form. It's gonna go into our EHR system, and then our EHR system is gonna transfer that information onto that form, and it's going to send it to that payer in an electronic way. So you're not going to actually, most EHR systems, you're not going to actually see this form where you're going to be inputting this information. So that's why it's really important right now while you guys are working in SimChart and you're inputting all of this data into the system. This is also showing you that when you become a biller, you're going to be inputting information into an EHR system that is going to go into this form, and that information is just going to transfer over. That's why it's so important that you learn how to navigate that system and also input that data where it's telling you to put that data. Because this is how you're going to see it. You're going to see it in the form of what you're seeing in SimChart and not the form of this actual form that you see now.
Right. Okay.
But
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Ms. Marsha, but it's also really good to become familiar with this form, because when something denies on your claim and you need to understand where that denial is coming from, it may reference like loop numbers like 11A or 11B, 11C, or 3A. It's going to reference loops. And so you being familiar with your HCFA 1500 form and what is needed in each one of these in each one of your slots is going to be very beneficial to you too in understanding your denials.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. The reason I'm introducing is not because I feel like you're ever going to have to fill it out, but when you need to reference your claim form, you need to know what the key spots you need to be looking for if you have a denial. For example, if somebody denies because the date of birth is wrong, you're going to need to look right here. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. When me and Miss Brandy worked together at ACS, I worked on a denial for 3 weeks, could not figure it out. Called someone over to look at it, and the year of the date of birth was transposed. Instead of like 1985, it said 1958. I overlooked that so many times. But guess what? I never overlooked it again because, one time of looking at the same thing a bazillion times and finally figuring out, you don't forget it. All right, so let's scroll down a little bit more. I want to call your attention to box 21. This is where your diagnoses go, your diagnosis codes. But this is the box that I really want you to pay close attention to. This is your prior authorization number. So what is a prior authorization?
Where you get medication approved through the insurance company.
Yeah, it can be a procedure. So I'm going to go in and have a thyroidectomy. I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. Do I just get to go in just because? No. We have to get prior authorization that says I can have that done. We got to make sure it's medically necessary, right? So
So
once,
will you guys, okay, Ms. Tasha, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you go, you're good.
You
You're
know, I
good.
love insurance, so I have, it's my thing. So do you guys think that a prior authorization is needed for every service that can be rendered by a provider?
Only for stuff that your insurance don't cover. Like you gotta run it through the insurance first.
Okay. So most of the time, prior authorizations are going to be needed for specialty services. If your primary care physician happens to refer you out to a specialist for any reason, and that specialist needs to do some type of procedure, that specialist is going to need to get a prior authorization because they're not your PCP. Like your PCP is your primary care doctor, so you don't have to get prior authorizations to see a PCP. You do have to get prior authorizations for specialty services, cardiologists, sometimes oncologists, just depending on
Endocrinologist. I was just talking about.
endocrinologists.
Thank you
All of
so
those
much.
specialty services are normally going to require prior authorization for any procedures that they're going to be doing. Why? Because they're not actually the physician that renders your general health. Your primary care does that.
I appreciate you adding to that, Miss Danielle, because I did leave a huge gap there. There's a gap between right here and right here right now. It's the brain. So I definitely need your assistance. Okay, so let's go back to our form. So your prior authorization is going to go here. So if you send out a claim and it needs a prior authorization and they deny it as this needs to be authorized, and you realized that the number wasn't added, this is where you would find prior authorization, box 23. What box does prior authorization go in?
23.
23.
23.
That's right. I'm not just asking y'all those questions because it's for fun. They really do ask you on the NCCT about some of these boxes. So I want to go over the main ones with you. Diagnosis codes 21, prior authorization number 23. All right, so let's look at 24A, B, C, D, E, all the way across here. So 24A, this is your dates of service. It could range from, like it would be 12/1/2024, 12/1/2024, 12/2/2024, and then your CPT codes, your modifiers. I'm not going to go through all of these with you guys because I just feel like it'd get lost in the wash. But your rendering provider ID, who knows what an MPI is?
I do.
I do.
All right, so what is it?
It's the physician's ID that they use to like send a script, and the identification number that they use for like the scripts, and
Do all
It's
doctors
every
have this?
doctor's specific code that follows them all throughout their career.
It's their national provider
Identifier.
identify. I was going to say identification, but I knew that wasn't right. National provider identification. So let me ask you this. Do all doctors have the same NPI number?
no.
No.
Different.
No, everyone has a different one.
That's right. Even your rendering and your billing are going to be different in some cases. So that NPI number is very, very important.
Can we go search that NPI number if we could not find it? If that NPI number, we didn't know what that NPI number is, can we search that number as billers? Ms. Marshall's
Yes.
going to the website. We can.
Yes, I think they have a registry.
They do have a registry.
Right. So you can find, let's see. Let me see if I can just it's not gonna, no matching. Okay. So yes, you can go in and fill out the information and find the, I guess maybe I could,
The first name you have to put like that, the rendering provider's like first name.
oh, I put,
We love Dr. Tony.
yeah, I'm not going to spend any more time there, but yes, you can look up the National Physicians Identification Number. You can just put in your search engine, look up NPI. All right, so let's go down. Federal tax ID number. Do you think that that has to be put in?
Yes.
Yes.
Because what? Everybody got to pay taxes, right?
Yes.
We have to have that tax ID number. The patient's account number will automatically populate. Total charges, the billing provider information, this is going to be an address. But let's look at A right here. It says NPI. Now up here we did a rendering NPI, right?
Mm-hmm.
But down here, when you, come on, let me back up there. Here, you're going to have your facilities. Like, for example, I may say Dr. Tony Grant is the rendering provider, but Healthy Steps is the facility. So it will have your facility address and then a facility NPI number will be here, the billing NPI number.
Also known as NPI 2. Rendering is known as NPI 1. Group or facility is NPI 2.
What box does prior authorization go in?
23.
23. What does NPI stand for? Not the ones who knew before, others. What does NPI stand for?
National provider.
National Provider Identifier.
Very good. Very good. Does the date of birth matter?
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously.
Okay, so any questions about the 1500 form?
No.
This was
No.
kind of just a little crash course, just to kind of get your feet wet with what they actually look like and what you need to put in there. I think we should tell a billing story, Miss Danielle. You have one? Miss Brandy, you have a billing story?
I got a billing 5. Billing
I can definitely pull one. So I'm gonna tell you about a denial that really and truly had me stumped. That I had did all the things, as I always tell you guys, as a biller, you're also a researcher. You're a researcher of information that you need in order to get those claims to push through. You're kind of gonna feel like a banker from time to time too, because money is what you do, basically. Money is what you do. But I had this claim and I had been sending this claim out to the insurance and it kept denying for invalid authorization. So, of course, the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check with the provider and have them send me over the prior authorization that was received for that service, right? So that I can match that number up because something's going on. Either the number is off, what is going on? So I get the authorization from the provider and I match it up with what's on my claim and it is identical. It is absolutely correct. So I call the insurance again. I have the actual prior authorization in my hand. I can physically see it and it matches what is on my claim. Can you pull up my claim with me while I'm on the phone with you? I want you to look at it with me and let's look at the numbers that's on there. She looks at the claim and she still tells me, ma'am, that authorization is invalid. that denial reason is valid. If you send it back again, it is going to deny again for the exact same reason. And I'm just like, why? I'm not understanding, not understanding. But me being the digger that I am, the builder that I am, the builder that all of you will be, you'll go a step further. Now I want to talk to the person that gave this authorization. I want to talk to somebody in the authorization department that actually sent this authorization to this provider, because I want answers as to why is my claim denied for authorization that you sent that you said was authorized and approved. So I get to talk to somebody in the authorization department, come to find out, couple weeks after they approved the authorization, they actually went in there and they voided it. They voided the authorization. So now the provider has now rendered services that she cannot get paid for, because for some reason, and again, most builders do not do authorization, so we don't know all the things that went into getting this service authorization, as far as like the medical necessity, the assessment, all the things that they have to send in order for that authorization to be approved. We don't normally do that as builders, so we don't know all the things that they sent. It could be that initially, whenever they did the authorization, they looked at it and they, quickly approved it and went through. Maybe it was audited after that, and the auditor found where this authorization is missing this. So being that it's missing that, we're going to go back and pull that authorization. We're now going to void it. I told you this story to tell you this. When you're calling your claims department regarding denials, you're not always going to get the information that you need from that claims representative. You're going to sometimes have to do some extra legwork to work around them or above them or even beyond them to get
Send
the
me to the
information that you
basement.
need. You may have to fly around the world to get what you need to figure out what is going on with your claim. But that is going to be you guys' job. And I don't know about y'all, but for billing, that is something that like thrills me and gives me so much, like, I love it, because it's
Job
almost like,
satisfaction.
yeah, it's almost like putting together a puzzle and you finally get to
Yes.
the end of it
Yes.
and it's all done and you can kind of look at it and say, this
That's
is,
my
I
hard
did that.
work.
yeah.
That's my hard
These
work.
are the things that makes you an expert in your field. When you can go above and beyond and figure out an issue that probably nobody else will figure out, not because they can't, but because they're not willing to do so. So that's my story.
That's an awesome story, Miss Danielle. I love that. Miss Brandy, did you have one you wanted to share?
I got one I can share, yeah. So when I first started doing medical billing and coding, I worked for an outsourced billing company, and the first account that I handled was a charity clinic in Alexandria.
I knew,
Um,
I knew.
you know, how much fun I had with that. There was the first year that I worked for this company, that's the only account I handled because number one, I was learning, and number two, they were in that bad a shape. Like nobody had even looked at their billing for like a year. And I know my class has heard me talk about timely filing deadlines and things like that. So, and this was a charity clinic that did such a wide range of services, everything from dental, vision, women's services. But the story I want to tell y'all is about they went through this area of time where they just really did a lot of tubal ligations. They tied a lot of tubes and did some partial and full hysterectomies in their women's services department. And unfortunately, once I started working the claims for these major surgeries, it was a charity clinic, so majority of the patients had Medicaid, right? Because these are lower income patients. So a lot of them had Medicaid services. Well, even if your facility is a charity, they can, if the patient has Medicaid, that is how they can recoup some of their funds. They'll accept Medicaid assignment. Well, the rule is when you do a hysterectomy or any kind of sterilization surgery, that and you're a Medicaid patient, Medicaid demands that you get a signed authorization from the patient 30 days before the surgery. It has to be done 30 days before the surgery, or they will not mess with it. Medicaid won't touch it. Well, nobody in the clinic knew that. None of the billing people knew to let the the doctors and nurse practitioners know that they needed this form from Medicaid. So once I started working on all these insurance claims that had been denied and never went anywhere, I started, like Miss Danielle said, you start digging to figure out why your claim won't be paid. And ours, we figured out that they were getting the patients to sign the release, to sign the authorization, but they were doing it the day of surgery. They were getting them to sign it right before they went under anesthesia. And it's not for Medicaid to cover it at any in any amount. It has to be done 30 days before.
Oh, wow.
So this clinic ended up eating hundreds, and I mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in surgery claims because nobody knew about that form or the correct way to get it processed. So y'all may run into something. Maybe the first, I gotta say, I'm glad that the first account they handed me was so jacked up because I learned so much getting that account straight. It became my baby, and it'll be like that for y'all too. Y'all will get an account, and that it'll be your baby. You'll pay attention to what's past due, what's 30, what's 90, what's 60. You'll obsess about it.
But guys, I want you to take a moment and think about if Miss Brandy just wanted to throw her hands up and say, I can't figure this out. She didn't do that. She
Right.
dug and she called. I guarantee you she probably called Medicaid a umpteen jillion times before she actually got the information she needed, because they don't want to hand you any information.
Mm-mm.
And a lot of times it's all about knowing the questions to ask. Recently, I had to call about a patient who had a specific insurance, but they don't pay for behavioral health. A very wise friend told me, when you call, ask if they don't cover the mental health service, if there's a branch off of there that the patient is covered off on. And guess what?
Ooh.
They were.
Ooh.
It was a Humana policy, but Carolion was kept covering his
Behavioral
mental
health.
health. And so we could not bill his mental
Humana.
health to
Mhm.
Humana. We
Because
had
it's
to
medical.
bill it to Carolion. The issue was, if I wouldn't have called, and this wise friend that's actually on the call, and she has on a white sweater, wouldn't have told me the right question to ask, I'd still be looking at it going, I don't know. They keep telling me, it's not covered. It's not a network. They're not going to give you the information. You have to have the right questions to ask. So if you're if you're just beating your head up against a brick wall, stop and think about, I've asked these questions. Come up with a different set of questions.
You have to
Talk to
get
other
clever.
billers.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to tell a little story, but mine's going to have a question for you at the end. So I had a meeting with a provider, and one of his patients' claims were denying because the policy had been canceled. But she had an authorization that exceeded, like her cancel. But let's just say, for example, her policy canceled on December the 1st, but her authorization carried all the way to March 2024.
Mm.
Is the insurance still going to pay since they gave the authorization? Alicia, unmute.
I would unmute, but I have screaming kids.
Oh, okay. Well, Alicia
We
said
see you
no.
saying no. We see you saying no.
We see
Anybody
you
else
saying-
agree with Alicia's no? And if you do, tell us why that no.
Right. Who else thinks no? And can tell us why you think it's a no. There are no wrong answers. Just be comfortable. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Y'all are
I
in.
would say because the
Y'all are
policy was canceled.
okay.
What'd you say, Alicia? That I didn't hear
Because the
that.
policy was canceled.
That's exactly right. They're not going to pay. It doesn't matter what they authorized because the policy was canceled. Let me tell you this. and you should know this by Miss Danielle's story. It doesn't matter what they authorize, they don't have to pay it. An authorization is not a guarantee of payment. And let me tell you something, if we don't tell providers that 1,000,000 times, they think if they get that authorization, they paid.
You'll remember this because anytime you call an insurance company and you're talking to them about authorization, you're going to the authorization department that's going to be on that recording. A authorization, or you're checking eligibility. An authorization is not a guarantee of payment, and they mean just that.
They do.
They can reject it for whatever reason they want to. Everybody thinks that doctors are the rackets. It is not so.
No, it's the insurance.
All right, so do we have any questions? You got 3 experienced billers in front of you right now. You can ask us any question you like, and Miss Danielle will answer it.
I probably will, because insurance is my thing, y'all. This is my area. This is my jam.
This is what me and Miss Danielle, this is where we find our joy.
Yes, this is my joy.
I like billing, but I like the billing portion of it, not actually the back end of it. No, I don't mind the back end of it. I'm like Miss Danielle. When I can get focused and dig in, that's when I like, when I have to research, when I have to dig, when I have to look at things. I love that part of it.
Because you're learning, you're constantly learning. And the more you know, the better you become at your job. Like
The more confident you get.
That's what I was supposed to say. Confidence is everything. If you call an insurance and you're like, well, I don't really, you're never going to get anything. If you call and
They
say,
smell
yes.
the blood in the water.
Yeah,
They
it's
will even
smell
be
when you're
super
new.
nasty with you. They will not even tell you anything. They will come to the point to where they'll tell you, well, I don't know. You need to go such and such and such. Like, they will do that to you.
They will tell you to go talk to your coder.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, ma'am, I can't code your claim for you. Go talk to your coder.
Well, I have them tell me, we need another 10 days. I'm like, you told me you needed 7 days on January the 1st at 3:30, and I talked to Susie Joe, reference number, blah, 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 blah. No, you tell me why my claim is not processed, why it's not being paid. I'm not giving you another 7 days. Are you going to pay my provider interest on a payment you owe them? Oh, you're not? Okay, then you tell me on what date you're going to pay this claim. Okay, we'll pay it Monday by 2 o'clock. If this doesn't hit my provider's bank Monday by 2 o'clock, I will be calling back and I want an explanation. I need your name and I want a reference number because I will be asking for you. See, I told y'all I'm not just bubbly and nice all the time.
You're insurance lawyer, mean business.
See, and that's what I like. I like getting on the phone and arguing with them people and proving my point.
Yeah.
And proving my point.
Yeah, I can't say that I disagree. I'm not an arguer in real life. Like, I do not like confrontation and
Me
arguing
either.
with people. But when it comes to insurance, I'm like, yes, let's go back and forth.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I've had them tell me, I am not going to help you. And I'm like, you're not going to help me? I want to speak to your supervisor. My supervisor is not available. Then I want to speak to your supervisor's supervisor. You better find me somebody to talk to because you're going to help me. They get friendly real fast.
Tell them, send me on up the chain, boo.
Yeah. And don't read me off of a screen what the denial is. Don't you think I can read it? You already mailed it to me. Give me something.
Get off the script.
Oh, goodness. You guys see, this is where we enjoy talking because these are real life experiences that we are, we've gotten down and dirty with it. And we just want to share with you guys because you're going to remember when you're billing these conversations that we're having. I would not even doubt if you don't call and say, Miss Danielle, this is what's going on. How do I fix this?
Yeah. And I hope you guys really know. I hope you guys really know how fortunate each of you are, because when I came into the billing profession, I had no go-to. I had nobody to pick up the phone and say, I really hope that you take advantage of the knowledge that is in front of you every day. I really hope that you do, because there are going to come times when you're going to need that knowledge and you're not going to be able to like reach out and say, because most of the time, if you're working in a private practice, you're the expert in the building. You are the only one that can do your job. So I really hope that you take advantage of us, spilling all this information to you and asking the questions that you want to ask as you matriculate through your coursework and you learn different things. I hope that you guys get to a point to where we're having conversation as billers, because I want all of our students to be able to have this lingo, have this conversation with us, to chime in with the knowledge that you've learned as you go through it. Okay, so we're going to come off the mute buttons.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap up. Well, I'm going to ask one more time. Any questions that you guys have?
No. Yeah, I do have one. Where do I find my email at? Like, I have the credentials to log in, but where do I find the actual email to log it in?
Outlook.
Yeah, you go to
Okay,
Microsoft Outlook.
I just wanted to be certain.
Yeah.
All right, Stacy, what did you, Stacy Vines?
Where do I find the email at? I can't even find like my inbox or anything.
You got to log into Microsoft Office to log in to get to your Unitech email.
When you
Okay, I'm logged in with my Unitech email, and I still can't find the email.
You may have not gotten it yet. Everybody has not gotten it yet.
So Amanda, if it's not there, just hang on.
Yeah.
So it's not on the My Unitech site?
No, ma'am.
No.
So whenever all students start, whenever you first started with Unitech, the home office sent you over an email with your school email in there. It came from Outlook. This was the same email that you used to log in to get into your e-learning. So prior to you being able to get into your e-learning, you had to go and set up your Outlook account before you could access your e-learning site. So if you can, go back and search your email, your personal email, for that Outlook email that was sent to you. It's going to have your login information in there. Now, your password is going to be different because you have to update that password in order to get into once you created your account. So you may have to reset your password, but your username will be the same.
Well, I'm looking at the Microsoft.com page. It says I'm logged in, but I can't find where the email.
Are you in Outlook, not Microsoft 365? You need to go to outlook.com.
Is the next module going to be in Moodle, or when are we all going to start like in that?
Probably so, but we are not 100% certain of the exact date yet.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Miss Danielle and Miss Brandy, since you're right here, I'll go ahead and tell you the e-learning, the Genzabar, I had trouble getting in. That's from a long number right here. I don't know who that is. But Sims charting does not work the same in Moodle as it does in Genzabar. I think we're going to have to, if we have to move from Genzabar into Moodle before this module ends, then we're going to have to come up with an alternative thing to do the rest of those days. So,
Lindsay, that's Lindsay.
I think that's my Lindsay.
Okay.
Actually,
Hey,
I've got two Lindsay.
sorry. I just got off work. I was trying to log into the I don't even know how to say it with the J. I was trying to log into that. Do we use that email and password that was given to us? Because I had a lot of trouble.
This is Lindsay Triggs, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Lindsay just started on Tuesday.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay.
Your situation is a little bit different, Lindsay.
Okay.
Y'all didn't even get your evolve codes till this morning, so we're still in the process of setting all that up. So shoot me a text message, and that way you and I can get together after this, and we'll get you sorted out.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right.
Can I say something about our Unitech email real quick? Okay, so I know a lot of people are asking where to find it. So I was starting to look through it. Whenever we go on the Microsoft 365, where we do our typing up stuff, over to the left-hand side where they have home, create my content. At the bottom, it has Outlook. And you click on that, and that is your email.
Thank you, Asia.
Asia, would you feel comfortable making a little video of that and sending it to Miss Brandy?
Or she can share
Sure,
her screen.
I
Put her
can.
on the spot, Marcia.
Well, look, she sees it. So if you'll make just a quick, short little video, and we'll send that out. We'll put it in our Genza bar for everybody to watch. I think it would be great to have a student.
Yeah, especially from a student's perspective, because we can't
Yes.
log into you guys' 365.
Extra points.
Okay, I can record something and send it over.
And look, you don't have to record your face if you don't want to. Just record the screen.
Right.
And I'll give you 50 extra points.
And I'll give you 50 extra points in my class. How about that?
Asia said it's done.
We appreciate that. All right,
No problem.
everybody, no stressing out. We're starting early so that we have time to process and move over, right? We start talking really soon, and then we'll slowly but surely move you over. No one will be left behind, and we will all get it figured out, okay? Thank you for spending time with us today. I had a lot of fun on this Zoom. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. It wasn't a whole lot of lecturing, but we learned some good stuff. I hope you learned something. And if you guys want to join me next Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. for NCCT prep, I would love to see you there.
The link is in daily assignments for my students. It's going to be labeled NCCT weekly link. It's in daily assignments. I think Marsha Amanda wants me to stay behind, so
I'll stay with you.
Borrow.
Okay, everybody, you're dismissed, and I'm going to stop recording. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Good day.
Bye, guys.